Hello and welcome to Chalphy Castle, my farm for 0% growth, low turn count playthrough. So this might be my favorite castle in the entire playthrough. What makes this castle so unique is that I normally do try my hardest not to fight late game armies in this generation, like how I dodged Redale's squad almost entirely, or didn't fight them, and skipped a bunch of enemies here, but during Milito's castle. But the way this castle's laid out with the one bridge and all the tightly packed enemies, it's just impossible to avoid fighting them. I have to go straight through. And I obviously have the tools to do this, like Balmung Shannon is fine, taking on all of them, but the issue is that takes ages, because a lot of the enemies here have 2 range. So, because of this, I've been feeding a bunch of kills into the Light Sword, because it's the best 1-2 range option that Shannon has. And the reason I need it to be so high on kills is that Shannon has 0 magic, so that's 19 attack power with a magic ring at 2 range, which is barely tanking anything, even with Astra and Continue. So that is why I've been feeding so many kills onto it. He'll have a roughly 50% crit rate with it, which between all his skills will be enough to kill things at 1-2 range. So I put a lot of work into raising that. Unfortunately, Oifi no longer gets to hold on to his own personal weapon, and it goes to who is meant to be wielded by Shannon to deal with these enemies. Shannon has to do because he just has the highest stats out of anyone, the highest evade. He's the only one who could rely, and he also has Astra and Continue. So with crits, he has 38 attack power with the Light Sword, which is, if he procs a few crits, enough to kill everything at 2 range. And this is also why I've been pumping so much money into him. He'll need 4 rings: the power ring, the shield ring, oh wow, that's embarrassing. Power shield, the power ring, the speed ring, the skill ring, and the magic ring. All to either the power ring, though you'd think he wouldn't need it. He needs that to take out Alvis, who, it's kind of funny because I thought he would be super unreliable, the boss kill, but Alvis is probably one of the most reliable boss kills of this generation. I don't have to do too much abuse. Anyways, here's Shannon, like the badass he is, obliterating the arena with an iron blade at base. He's so good. He's such a best sword master of the series by far. Pity he's not mounted, though. Means I can only use him very little. And I'm pretty sure that's the last repair the Balmung will need. I don't really need it much more this gen to clear the game. Shannon still has a few tiny tasks in the final chapter, but this is really Shannon's. This is where he makes his greatest contribution to the party. I really couldn't do this well, I could still complete this castle, but it would be very slow and inefficient. So, with the evade boost from leadership and his natural evade with the speed ring and charisma, he can actually dodge pretty well. And in the background, Thief's are always useful, always need to do money dumps. This has been a staple of the generation, of the game, both generations, so no surprise I'm continuing even now. And now Shannon is just going to obliterate the whole front. Unfortunately, I couldn't place him further forward because there's a sleep staff user, and I can't deal with those. I could probably, if I really wanted to, well, if I brought him further forward, then other units such as Cells would be at risk of death, so I think this is inevitable. And here, even though he has 19, he deals about 6 damage to them with that unsupported. Through crits, he manages to 1 round. He counterattacks with all his skills. And yeah, power of high kill light swords. Seriously, I think a high kill light sword is one of the most overpowered weapons in this game. Just because it doesn't matter if you don't have good magic, you can still kill things well. And now Oifi is going to make his single contribution to this castle. I mean, he isn't doing so much now that game's almost ending, but he did a lot in earlier chapters. But anyways, I need him to weaken an enemy. And he uses the Earth Sword mostly so that he isn't killed on enemy phase. There are a few tasks I need him to do in the final chapter, and I don't have the money, enough spare money to resurrect him, so it's necessary. And said he's warped over to chip in with a reserve. Said he's alright, I mean, doesn't get much fighting in, but Staff Bot's always a Staff Bot. And Reserve's a good spell. Which tops everyone else off, which will allow me to pull a few more tricks. So now that that enemy's been weakened, Salas can take him down. There's no way for Salas to take him down even with 2 crits because Salas had to sell the power ring. He's not the one doing the majority of the damage to Albus, and surprise, surprise, I can't just do Hero Sword crap to kill him. He has awareness, and even if he didn't, his defense is way too high. So I just need to take him out by normal means, meaning Shannon. Because he has continue, which isn't ignored by awareness, and yeah. Aless does great one-shotting this enemy. He's very defensively weak at this point in the game, but he has 45 attack power with the Mistolton, so obviously a 90 attack power crit is going to one-shot everything. Except for a few especially brutal bosses. So, as long as he doesn't have to get hurt too much, everything is good. So, now I'm just charging up. I do not want Layla within range of anything because she will get killed. She gets one-shotted by everything and her evade isn't good enough, and I want this strategy to be somewhat elegant. And here is the main thing. So all those meteors can attack her with high hit rate because a lot of them get Albus's leadership boost, but using prayer and a javelin ended up surprisingly useful. I managed to make it so that Salas was reduced to 1 health. He still has the prayer ring, so most of them will go and attack Salas instead of killing Layla, which increases reliability. And finally, I just take out the sleep staff user. This time, Shannon just uses the Balmung instead of the Light Sword because he doesn't really need to counterattack for the kill on enemy phases to get kills. Like, all my units are where they need to be, and even if Shannon gets surrounded, it's alright, I can just rescue him. And, I think this is the last village that will be visited in this playthrough, so it's kinda sad. But, oh well. And yeah, very little RNG abuse. This strategy is actually very reliable. I'm happy that I managed to take this terribly tough fight and deal with it. Because I wasn't sure if I could. I really thought this would be a terrible RNG fest. And now, the enemies are just running around. Thankfully they won't have an opportunity to screw things up with Albus because I'm taking him down in 1 round. Not one-rounding him, but he will die in a round. And most of them go and attack Celes, whose evade is increased by 110 because he has charisma, and, well, technically 130 if you count his own leadership, because of his own leadership, Layla, and prayer. And now, seems suicidal, but Albus is going down. So I'm completing this on my in 10 turns. The fastest possible with growths is 8 turns, so I lose 1 turn on Militos because I can't return Celes on time to do the 6th turn of that chapter, and 1 turn here because in a growths playthrough you could obviously, with Leaf and stuff, just charge the Rotten Ritter head on, and you wouldn't have any trouble, like, well, you would have, no, you wouldn't have any trouble, really. So you could just charge the Rotten Ritter head on and that saves a turn, but obviously I can't do that because no one can deal with sleep, and even if I could, it would be very unreliable to throw Shannon in the middle of the Rotten Ritter. Now the RNG abuse, there's actually very little during this part of the game, during this killing of Albus, and, you know, decided a little to change the music up a little. Not recording the game audio, but might as well have Might as well have the right music for fighting Alvis. I thought I'd have to put him to sleep. It didn't end up that I could, but still, Shannon with a speed ring and all his items does alright against Alvis, even on 0% growth. Like, he gets one-shotted, but he can dodge reasonably well. So this boss kill is, I forgot to turn in on animations for this one, but they'll be there later. So, Shannon attacks him, lands 3 hits. Layla dances, Brig another 3 hits. Leaf rescues him away, and I'm going to have Celis land the final 2 blows because he has 2 health left. I probably could make it so that Shannon got the kill, might have made things more loud. I think it's kind of funny that, like, my pitifully weak Celis managed to kill Alvis. Like, I don't know. It doesn't matter who gets the kill, he doesn't drop anything, and the Balmung is never getting enough kills to use critical, nor would it need to, and yeah. So Alvis, unfortunately I can't do that conversation where Celis gets a point of luck. It obviously costs turns, and oh yeah, sorry, no Tearfing. I could probably find some use for it just because I think it would make Celis immune to sleep staves, which would be very useful at some points, but I mean, I'm seizing on this turn, there's no way that I could get it without losing turns. So this map is completed in 10 turns. Still a lot of the Rod and Ritter left, but I don't know, I just kind of plowed through them. And now, Celis will go and kill and avenge his father's death. So, the playthrough's almost over, just 1 chapter left, which will be fun. Thank you, and I'll see you guys next time.